Oh, that's what we doing, Matlock?
All right, we are here today with Mr. Chet Mason, Mr. Brush, Mr. USA Basketball, Mr. Cavalier at one point. I'm Fun Game Chris, Gatorade Chris, or I've been called worse, but we're just here to just have a little dialogue. One thing that is kind of a passion and a desire of mine is just to help the amateur athlete. So whether it be information to parents, to the athlete, to coaches. And so we're just doing a few series just to draw awareness. If it can help a few people out, if it can help some parents out, if it can help some athletes out, that's just kind of what we want to do. So I wanted to have you on. You've been a friend for a while, and you've done some great things in the city and also outside of the city. And so I wanted you to talk a little bit about your journey on how now you're at Brush, you're the head coach, but walk us through, for the people that don't know, about your journey, how you got here to Brush.
First and foremost, I want to say thank you for giving me this opportunity to be on this platform to be able to get some information out to some that may need it. Like you said, we've been rocking for a long time, man.
Yes, sir.
A long
yes,
time,
sir.
man. You know what I'm saying? I seen up close how you help to alter and change young people's lives, and you have seen the same on my end, how I help alter and change young people's lives. So that was, that's the main goal. So I think that's why we rock.
Yeah.
I think that's why we rock, because we both got the same. We got the same intentions as helping people.
Absolutely.
And to me, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Because we both have families, our family men, our great fathers.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, we're not doing our job if we don't help pull somebody else along.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, tell us how we got here, man. Tell us a lot of stuff that I'm sure people don't know.
I've grown up in the inner city of Cleveland, over in a Mount Pleasant area neighborhood, down there on 102nd and Dickens. Was raised by my mother and my grandfather. Father figure was my grandfather. That was my hero. So heroes wear different capes. Everybody look different. Some people might have a athlete as a hero. Some people might have the cartoon. Growing up as a kid, like the Superman or Spider-Man. Mine was my grandfather. Mr. Bearden. And so I looked at him as I looked at the cartoon characters as far as the Supermans, because he was there when I needed him and when I didn't. He was just there. So, and my mother being a single parent, trying to raise 6, kids, it was hard. It was hard. Yeah. So he stepped in and he did his part, his due diligence. And, again, I wouldn't be able to sit here to be able to tell this story if it wasn't for him. But yeah, going Cleveland Public Schooling my whole life, K through 12. Started off at William Rainey Harper on the west side. Went to Woodland Hills. Went to A.B. Hart. Went to John Hay High School, and then transferred my senior year to Cleveland South, which is not a school anymore, but it's still there. Like the foundation, the building is still there. To go to a college, a university that it was a culture shock for me, Miami University, because I think at that time it was only 3% black. You know what I'm saying?
That ain't South.
Right, it ain't South. So I go from the inner city of Cleveland, where it's 99, well, my side of Cleveland, the south side of Cleveland, where it's 99-point-something% African American, to going to a college campus where it's only 3% of us, and majority of us was athletes,
Yeah.
So it was a culture shock. It was times that I'm like, man, what am I doing here? Let me get up out of here, But I had some great men in my life there. So I didn't have my grandfather there every day, but I had the coaching staff that was there, and that was Charlie Coles, Jermaine Henderson, James Whitford, Frankie Smith, those guys, Ryan Peden, those guys that all had collective parts in my development as a young man.
Okay.
You know. 2, graduating from college from Miami, which was the basketball piece was great. You know what I mean? It was awesome, but my biggest achievement, I believe, other than my kids, you know, was me getting a college degree, coming from where I'm from, and actually graduating from college. That was different. You know, none of my siblings graduated from college, so I was the first one. So you know, I was, and even in the neighborhood, guys wasn't going to college. Guys was going to high school, and then you know, they was figuring other things out, street stuff and whatever it was. You know, guys was into other stuff. So me graduating from college, I'm like, okay, let me try to be a trend center for the community, you know. So that was my biggest achievement to me, other than
It's big.
my family, my kids, and my wife and my kids, but graduating and then going on to, graduating, and you know how everybody say, well, when I was younger, I want to go to the NBA.
Yep.
I want to do what? The first thing young people say, I want to go to the NFL, NBA, Major League, whatever, so I can buy my mother a house. You know what I mean? But I really believe my mother's proudest moment was when I walked across that stage in Oxford, Ohio. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, I never seen her that joyful, that happy, that, you know what I'm saying? She was celebrating, like, this, it was amazing. So I'm like, okay, when I tell my young people now, the young people that come under me, like my players or just different kids that I work with in our school district, I say, how you pay your parents back, walk across that stage and see how your parents celebrate. You know what I mean? Because it's different. It's different. I mean, of course, buying a house and a car and being able to do that stuff is awesome, but I don't believe that can take place with the success when you walk across. I mean, the feeling of when you walk across that stage, graduating from college. You know,
Can't take that degree away from
you
you.
can't you could take everything else. You could take the money. You could take the sport. You can take all that, but that degree is always gonna be there because it's in here. It's in your head. Like you know what I mean? The knowledge.
Yep.
Can't take the knowledge away. So after graduating from college, I went on to go to play professional basketball. I did it. I had a cup of coffee with the Cavs. I mean, you know, preseason.
A lot of guys ain't taste that coffee.
So I was able to run out that tunnel. I was with Brian and you know, what I'm saying, those guys. I was able to be around them for at least them 2 months was really really fun. You know, and then once they released me, I went to the NBA Development League, which is called the NBA G League now because Gatorade took over. And I played in LA. And boy, was that amazing time, you know. So I was under the Lakers team, which we did everything that the Lakers did but play and get paid as a Laker, you know.
Okay.
So we played in the Staples Center, we practiced in the Toyota Center.
Oh, wow.
We was around those guys. I was able to be around Kobe Bryant for those 6 months. I was able to see him every single day because when we come in for practice, they actually, I mean, when we practicing it, they come in after us. So we was practicing at 8 a.m. So we had to get out the way of the Lakers, you know what I'm saying? So, and some of us was allowed to stay, hang out, and some of us even got in practice. They needed bodies. So they was able to get us in practice and do some different things. So then I did another year with the Los Angeles Clippers team in Anaheim, California, which was good. It was another great place, you know. Clippers was a great organization. And then, I mean, once I felt like, you know, once I got wiser to how the game go, because at that time it's a business, you know what I mean? And it's either you know what's going on or you just, you know what I mean? Either you succeed or you fail. You got two ways to go. Yeah, it's 2 ways. So I said, all right, let me stop chasing the dream. Because as a young man growing up, the dream was always every day, I want to go to the NBA, I want to go to the NBA, I want to do this, I want to be Magic Johnson. Because Magic Johnson is my favorite all-time player. I want to be Magic Johnson. I want to make the $1 million. I want to drive it. You know, and so that was the goal. But as I got older and going through the development league, I wisened up and said, man, let me get some money. And so the money for me particularly was abroad in overseas,
Yeah.
so in the European countries, different countries. So I ended up going over there and spent 11 years over there.
Mm.
So, I mean, I've been to so many countries, and from the Dubais to the Bosnias to France to Israel to, I mean, it's just so many places, Russia, and lived there and was able to live in these countries and see and learn their different cultures, you know. And again, like I said earlier, you can take away everything, but you can't take away the knowledge. I learned stuff over there, you know what I'm saying? So I still to this day, I know different. I know about different cultures and different, you know what I'm saying? Just being different. So, and here we are today. Me, never thought I was gonna be a coach. You know what I'm saying? At the end, I thought I was gonna be able to play forever. Never thought I was gonna get into coaching, but you know, the Lord had something for me different. He had a different path for me, and my heart always been, how do I give back? How do I pull? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I pay it forward? So I always wanted to give back to the young people, no matter what. And it didn't have to be sport. Like I done been a part of different things that help young people that had nothing to do with sport, like, you know what I'm saying, reading programs and just different things. So that's always been my passion. The Lord put that in me because I think me being, I don't want to get too religious, but messenger for him, I think he put that in me, and like me being able to sow seeds in people and not just sport. The sport is just the, you know, the glitter to go to dangle over, because you got to get their ear. You got to get the young people ear. So, you know what I'm saying? I can walk in any setting and talk about sport, and 9 times out of 10, the young people listen. But once then you get them to listen, now you can talk about other stuff to try to lead them into doing the right thing, which is, you know, ministry, you know. But and again, I'm not a minister. I'm not I'm not none of that. I just know the Lord have blessed me, and so.
You don't have a physical church, but you are. Okay. It's part of your mission.
Right.
It's part of your,
right. So I mean, and still to this day, I'm using that. So I just popped up. I mean, high school coach. I'm like, oh, like I had opportunities to go to college and work. I had opportunities to do stuff in the professional, with professional organizations. But I mean, high school, something told me. Anyway, I don't say something, but the Lord told me, like, this is where you need to be right now. You know, and I'm glad I listened, because, man, me being in a high school setting, this will be my 8th season, has been awesome. You know, it's been amazing.
Well, I will say that I'm glad you said it that way, because I truly believe that you know, what you're doing is a calling, and anytime, well, I wouldn't say anytime, but most cases where people are working and have a desire to work with young people, it is a calling, whether they admit it or not, you know. And I think everything is for a season. So, I mean, you had desires to be, maybe thoughts of being in other places, and, you know, but God planted you where you are for a reason and for a specific season and time to touch, you know, those people you have touched. I want to go back to something you said. So because so the purpose is that I kind of want to help people that are watching. So I want to go back to something you said about when you left and went to college.
Okay.
And how your world at college looked nothing like your world back at home. And just, I want you to kind of dig in a little bit more about that, because we got future college athletes that are watching. We got some athletes that are already at school that might be dealing with what you dealt with. Like, I like to hoop, but I don't really belong here because the people aren't like me, or like, just talk a little bit more about how you got through. I know you said you had different influences or different people that had your back, but even from a parent's perspective, when they're looking to send their kid away to school, what are some of the things they need to look at as far as the environment? Because you may have a kid that might be out of his environment. Like, talk a little bit about more how you dealt with that.
First of all, the mental health stuff is definitely real. Like, and it can be your biggest and best athletes, the strongest, but that don't mean nothing because stuff inside is what eats you up, not the outside presence. So it was times that like it felt like the walls was closing in because I'm down there. Nothing against Cleveland schooling. I love Cleveland schooling. Like again, I bleed Cleveland. I am. You know what I'm saying? Like Cleveland public schools. Even though they were supposed to come in and try to get me to come there and work and all that. But that's what another segment is on some stuff. But I wasn't prepared. It was a different world, man. I mean, and it's not just Oxford, Ohio, not just Miami University. It's all these universities. You got to be prepared.
Because Miami is like, not only do you feel like you weren't prepared going from Cleveland to a college, but within college, Miami's has pretty high standards.
Standards, right.
I mean, even from a college, university, Miami's kind of like looked at as.
Yeah, they call it. So when I went, the nickname was the Harvard of the Midwest. Mm-hmm. Now, only Harvard I know is up the street. Right. Yeah, I didn't know nothing about no Harvard. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't in my that wasn't in my tunnel. Like, I'm like, Harvard, okay. Like I'm thinking, we gonna go on Lee Road and it's going, but it was different. Like the standards was high academically. Like it wasn't well, you just gonna go here and you gonna play sport and we gonna take care of you.
Figure it out, yeah.
And we gonna have somebody do this paper for you, and you ain't gonna have to go to study tables, and you know what I'm saying, we gonna coddle you and no, it's not like that. You are a grown man or woman when you get on these universities, because at the end of the day, they giving you this scholarship for sure for you to perform on whatever your field or whatever you do. But, because it's a but in there, they're not going to play around with the academics. They're not. Because they got 10, 15, 20, 100 more Chet Masons that they can bring in and try to do the same thing for. So they can replace you really quick.
So, piggybacking off of that, you talked about the academics at college.
Right.
So let's talk about kind of transition to high school.
Right.
And that, now it's a different climate, like recruitment. Like when you got recruited and both of us were back in high school, I mean, even 10 years ago, it's a lot different now.
It's totally different.
And so talk about maybe what, how important it is for high school freshmen, sophomores, juniors to be, as far as their academics.
It's, man.
And as a college, and I'll even add, as a college coach,
right?
Like when they're walking in these high schools, I mean, what are they asking about?
Okay, so first thing they ask you, and I mean, again, we're blessed. I'm blessed. My coach staff, we're all blessed to be able to be in positions to. College coaches want to come in our gym, so every September we get coach after coach after coach. It's a blessing, the Lord has. There's nothing. I mean, the Lord has I don't know the word, but the Lord has blessed us to be able to get our young men in front of people. But when they come to the gym, first thing they ask, how's their academics? Ain't no if and what this. There ain't no excuses by now. What Chet don't. I want to know the truth. How's the academics? And that's weird because back then, in our day, they used to ask, they said, how is the kid? Like, how is he, man? Is he crazy? Is he, who he hang with and this and that? Now it's all about the academics because you have this thing called the portal now. And college coaches really don't have to recruit high school kids no more. And so, as of back then, where they can develop you and keep you and mold you into becoming that player, now they ain't even got to waste time with it because they can go get a guy that did 2 years in college already. So the reason they're asking how is the grades because first a lot of them they can get you I mean, you probably won't get the scholarship. They can get you in school, and they can save them scholarship money so they can go get the portal guy. So that's that's a piece that they don't tell you. You know what I'm saying? When they really be on the grads. And then second, your grades is going to be a reflection, because most of the time high school kids, they're not going to play. So your grades, if you can, they don't want no problems, because if you're a great student, you not playing, you just practicing, you going through all this mental stuff, you know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna have to worry about you in the classroom. If this was Chet Mason at this day, and they would have had to worry about me in the classroom. You get what I'm saying? Like, they would have had to worry. Like, if I was in this time. Also, if I was in this time, I think I'd have got a couple dollars. But we'll talk about that later on. Because
we're gonna talk about that too.
because they paying, it's a lot of money going on. A lot of money being handed out to these athletes now. But again, I hope I ain't lose nobody. You know what I'm saying? With what I'm saying is like the coaches come in and say the academics. Because if they get a good student, then this student, he an AB student, maybe I don't have to give him a scholarship, but I can get him in
on campus.
I can get him in, and it won't count towards the scholarships that I got left to really do what I need to do is go get in the portal and get me 4 or 5 guys. You know what I'm saying? So the game is real tricky. You know, the portal stuff has changed everything. Like, I never thought I was gonna live to see what's going on with how the portal is going and the transfer rules and all these different things that the what is it? Name, image, likeness. Like, I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's a different ball game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, we're gonna talk a little bit more about that.
Okay.
I know we gotta take a quick break. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the NIL.
Okay.
In a few minutes. All right. So we have this, I'd be remiss not to mention USA Basketball.
Right.
You all garbed up.
Yeah. Shout out to Coach Flannery,
head
too.
to toe. Yeah, Coach Flannery.
He,
which is crazy. I have not had the pleasure of meeting personally Coach Flannery yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we have him on. So we got this USA Basketball, this class 2023. I'm whipping through here.
Yep.
I know some of these guys. I've seen them play since they were in the 3rd, 4th grade. Other these guys, I don't know. But tell us a little bit about, I guess, USA Basketball, and I guess particularly this class that you're working with. And I know we were talking about NIL and all that type of stuff. So let's dive into that a little bit.
Well, 2 weeks ago we had our mini camp in Colorado Springs at the Olympic facility campus. I don't know what they call it, training campus.
Before you, and I don't mean to cut you off.
Okay.
Tell us how does a kid get chosen for a team like this?
You got to be good. You got to be good. You have to be a winner. You have to be tough. You have to be resilient. I mean, just the USA DNA. I mean, talent. Talent just alone will not get you to to wear one of them USA jerseys. It won't. As well as being one of the USA coaches. That's why I said shout out to Coach Flannery, because Coach Flannery has been a USA coach for so many years, you know. And I'm like one of the new kids on the block. And it's only him in Ohio. It was only Coach Flannery. So now that I'm put in, so now me and Coach Flannery, we represent the state of Ohio, you know, and amongst that small table. And it's not a lot, man. It's maybe out of the U16, U17, U18, it's probably not even 20 coaches, I think. If that. And the coaches consist of the 3 that travels to go overseas with them, and then for each unit, and then the core coaches that help. So it's a small table, and it's a blessing for us to be at that table representing Ohio and Northeast Ohio basketball, Cleveland basketball. You know, so that's an amazing thing. But to wear that USA across your chest, it takes a lot. It's not just talent. And then that's just for the junior national team. The men's national team, well, we know. That's the guys, the LeBrons and the KDs, and that's those guys, you know, to go and play for gold medals and win gold medals. So, but I mean, as a young man, a young player, you always strive for greatness. And I mean, don't let it deter you. USA is hard to get in, you're hard to make, but that's the NBA was hard to get in and hard to make, you know. But if you strive for it, you do things the right way, you work hard, you know what I'm saying? You keep your character as high as you possible because there's nothing that replaces a substitute for character, high character, you know. And some of those guys, some guys that make USA, I mean, they're really the best players for real, but some might outweigh some that's just as talented as them because they have a high character, you know. And so I hope I answered your question.
No, you did. So when we were talking before, you know, you looked at this and you said, "Oh, all these guys will get paid."
Oh, yeah.
Talk a little bit more about that because recruiting has also changed.
Right, and get paid in a good way.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Yeah.
The name, likeness, and image is, like I said, I wish they had that when I was around. Like, I have college athletes that I have been blessed to work with on a day-to-day basis from their just high school. Well, not high, I had them younger, but 9 through 12. And one in particular, you know, is thriving off the NIL. He's thriving, you know, and he never seen that much money in his life, you know. And I mean, and it's normal now. Like, it's legal. It's not doing nothing illegal. Like, you're finally getting paid for, you know what I'm saying, your brand, who you are, you know. And so these guys, like I said, this was just kind of the roster, the mini camp we just had. But majority of those guys, most of those guys, all of those guys probably will be benefiting from that.
So tell me, because I know you've worked with a lot of really good basketball players, some that are still there, some that are, like you said, are in college right now.
Pros.
Yep,
Yeah,
pros.
Got some pros.
So as a high school basketball player, you know, we talked about the recruiting from high school to college.
Right.
But I wanted to talk a little bit about how competitive it is being a high school coach.
Right.
And I'm sure that there are other states and cities that probably coaches that deal with this too.
Right.
You know, we're familiar with Northeast Ohio, but you being at Brush, which is a public school,
Right.
and you competing every year against the top schools in the areas, whether they be public, private,
Right.
and you know, you got kids going here, going there. You know, how hard is it to compete not only on the floor, but we talking about the off season too?
Right.
You know,
Right.
how does that work? You know, being a coach, and you've been how long have you been at Brush?
This will be my 8th season.
So your 8th season. So you've had kids that are homegrown kids, that are South U kids that come up. You've had kids that move in the system, and I'm sure you've seen some. I won't get you in trouble with none of your peers, and you know, I ain't trying to get you in trouble, but talk about that, like, you know, competing for talent.
Right.
You know, how has that been, or how has that dynamic changed?
For me, or just in general, for me, it's been a blessing, man. Like my light don't shine on me; it shine through me, and so parents and kids and the kids now, they understand who's real and who's, you get what I'm saying? For me, in general, I think it's tough. I mean, just in general, saying just for other coaches, I think it's tough because you have to convince or do everything the right way so the kids that's in your district, that's in the middle school, comes to your high school. So not only are you trying to keep the kids that's in your district to come to your high school, you know what I mean? You got to go against maybe some schools surrounding that can offer different other things. And I'm not saying money, but education or this or just different things. And they don't have to, they can live in your district, but they can go to another school, you know? And so I think it's hard just in general. But for me, I mean, and it's not a brag, I'm blessed, man. Like I said, my light don't shine on me, it shine through me. I believe whoever's at Brush is destined to be at Brush, and what me and my staff and our superintendent and like our school district are able to do for you, we help you be prepared for life. Like me coming in, my mission statement was always to help to help turn young boys into men with high character. So that when you leave from me, that's the goal. And it's never, as you see in that sentence, it's never about winning. Like, I don't focus on, hey, I gotta win, because you can get that screwed and misscrewed where if it's all about winning, but then what about little Carlos when you won a state championship or district championship or regional championship, but he's a senior and he helped you do all that. Now he's looking around because he want to go to college and continue his athletics in college. Mm-hmm. But he looking around and ain't got nothing for him. So like my focus have always been that. And I'm not saying, listen, I'm not talking about no coaches, no nothing. Ain't nothing wrong with winning. Like, again, I played the game at the highest level. I played at the highest level in high school, college, and in the pros. So ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, as for me, you know, you get what I'm saying? Just me and my mission statement, my vision. And again, most people don't know, I came into coaching high school. I never was a coach. Like, I never did no coaching fundamentals, none of that stuff. I just came from Russia, retired, and I was a head coach. So I didn't have, and Sonny helped me out with some different things, you know, just being around Garfield and watching how they do things, and you know what I'm saying? So he helped me out in some ways to help prepare me for that. Not even knowing he was helping prepare me for that. Because Sonny probably would have been like, what? I didn't help you and you got to go against me. Like, so, and that's a joke, I'm just messing. But, so I didn't have the formula. All I knew was, because when I was playing, I want to help young people. Every summer when I was playing, I was doing free camps, having 200 kids, and you know what I'm saying, sponsoring the Zelma George night league, sponsoring the Zelma George in-house league, like, because I want to help young people. You know what I'm saying? I did I don't know if you remember, it was like a combine thing.
Talking about Zelma?
No, at Garfield, when I had all these writers come and
I think I do.
Yeah, and that was to help young people. I wasn't a high school coach at the time, you know. So I'm like this. But to go back to your what were you saying? It's definitely hard for some because you got not people, but kids. Kids are smarter and wiser now because of this right here, the phone and the social media and the mixtapes and the, you know what I'm saying? We can go on and on to TikTok, all that stuff. They're smarter and wiser because if they see Tommy over here and he got 10 offers and you feel like you better than Tommy, I'm gonna go with Tommy because I think that coach is giving me them offers, or I'm gonna go somewhere that's kind of like that, similar. So these kids see that. And is it fair? Is the game messed up in high school? I think it is, because now it's more about other stuff than basically enjoying your high school time and developing into becoming a good player. And if not becoming a good player, just developing to become a good person, you know. So.
All right. So I want to leave people with a few things, like, so when it comes to recruiting, you know, as a high school coach, based on the things that you've seen, what are a couple things that are a couple pieces of advice that you can give? I guess we'll start with the player. Okay. What's some advice you can give to the player for a recruiting tip?
I tell them the three things, man. It's three things: character, grades, social media. So I hit them with those three things. And kids have a hard time with the social media piece. They have a hard time, man. But they got to understand, colleges and universities they have paid staff just to watch this stuff. To see that what you're putting out here and what you're saying, because that reflects your character. You know what I mean? Your grades is your grades. Like, I mean, if you ain't, you can't get through the clearinghouse, then, you know what I mean? They're not gonna waste their time. Not now. Definitely not now. Again, how I know? Because I'm a product of that. I was a Prop 48. So me not having, I had the grades, I didn't have the test score. They were able to still put me on full scholarship and keep me on campus to do everything that the full scholarship kids was doing, but playing the game. They don't do that no more. So I'm saying now, these times now, they're just, you ain't got the grades, they're gonna go to the portal. No, I mean, and it phases them. They think twice about it. So the three things: the social media, the high character, because you want to have the least bad things people say. You want to have mostly good stuff for people to say about you when these guys come in here. And kids got to understand, they're not just going to talk to your high school coach, because your high school coach is, if you a good coach, then you going to go to bat for your child, your kid, and you going to say all the best things. They're going to talk to the janitor that's sweeping, that you pay no attention to, because he going to know more than what most people are going to know. You get what I'm saying? They're going to talk to a teacher. They're going to talk to a principal. You know what I mean? They might talk to the store clerk, the store you go in every day. You just don't know. So you got to have a high character, the grades, and then again your social media. And kids now, young athletes now should, I mean, if you're trying to get that money, the money that they're giving out, your social media should be great anyway, because that's your brand. If you ain't branding, then I'm saying you ain't gonna make no money on the NIL anyway.
So, okay, you said social media. So give us an example of bad social media choice, or something that, because you mentioned it a couple times. So give me an example of something that shouldn't be on your social media.
Man, Chet Mason going on there saying all type of bad verbiage, cursing and talking crazy, and you know what I'm saying, pictures, bad pictures, just any of that type stuff. On there arguing with people and using foul language is big, because the way you talk is a kind of outlet on who you are as a person. You get what I'm saying? And my kids look at me now and they be like, man, you don't cuss? No, why would I don't curse. I used to when I was bad, when I was, you know what I'm saying, 8th grade at A.B. Hart, before I got expelled from middle school. But like I said, I had a grandfather, and he was the father figure, and he told me, like, man, you want to be something in life, dude, you're going to have to clean all this up. And I mean, I'm glad the Lord opened my ears and I listened, but yeah, just things in that nature, just outrageous, crazy stuff. Because these kids do some wild stuff on social media.
Oh yeah.
And they got to understand, like, they say, oh man, Twitter is the old people. No, these man, listen, so with the USA Basketball, we had these seminars. Everyone, we have different seminars, and you have social media training. And the NBA, right now, they have paid staff that watches everything. These kids come out, these guys that's on here, they got people watching
paid
their
staff, specifically
NBA, every
paid
NBA
staff.
Yeah. Every NBA organization. And I'm just saying NBA right now, but the colleges is on the same thing. Like, to see who they're not about to invest, because this coach is giving Chet Mason a 200, 300, whatever it add up to, depending on what your major is, scholarship, right? It can be 5 years. They can pay up to your schooling for 5 years. And a lot of people, for the parents, scholarships is year to year. So, you know what I mean? People don't know that. Like, it's year to year.
What do you mean?
When you sign a scholarship, so my guys who's about to sign for the 23, 24?
Yep.
That's what it say, 23, 24. They just have to re-sign it the next year. It's not put out there as that, but you got to know that too. So if you do something, they can get you out there, and you be like, man, I was on a 4-year scholarship. Ain't no such thing as a 4-year scholarship. That thing year to year. But they can keep you up to 5 and pay. You get what I'm saying? So this man who's giving Chet Mason this 200, whatever the amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars the scholarship is, he make $5 million a year, right? You think he gonna jeopardize that for Chet Mason? No.
No, sir.
He ain't gonna jeopardize that. He ain't gonna recruit you. He's just gonna go to the portal. The portal's different, man. It's a different animal, and young people and families and kids don't know it. They don't. And so it's a different environment than one I be in when I'm with the USA kids, because those guys gonna go somewhere. Like, it's different. It's levels. They gonna go.
Yep.
But you know what I'm saying? When
That's
I get back,
1% of,
right,
or less than 1%
right.
of.
And so when I get back to my high school, and you get a borderline kid, you can't. You know what I'm saying? It's different. You can't do some of the stuff that this guy's doing, because they gonna take a chance on him, because he, you know what I'm saying? He's projected to be a pro, or he's projected to be all conference when he as a freshman, or he's projected to be an all American. Your walk got to be a little bit tighter, you know, and so that's what they got to learn with that.
And I always say, like, even if you are a kid that moves a certain way, or if your language ain't the cleanest,
Right.
the time and place for everything. And that ain't the time or the place, especially if that's your advertisement on a representative of who you are.
Right. Especially if you're trying to build your brand.
Yep.
So, I mean, time, place, yeah, you are correct. You are absolutely correct. But if you were trying to build a brand, man, if I want to invest myself, my brand, try to make millions of dollars, and they saying all I got to do, and I'm not saying, I know it's hard, but all I got to do is straighten up and fly right and act a certain. I'm gonna do that if they saying it's gonna get me to a certain point, you know what I mean? And so, or get me in a certain room, like I was telling you about being at the table with USA, like it's different, like, you know what I mean? I'm sitting at these meetings with these guys, and I'm looking around, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking like, dang, Chet here, and you know what I'm saying? It's tatted all up, and you know what I'm saying? But the character, the knowledge, remember I said, like, those things, that's when it comes to factor at. And before we get off, you know, it ain't out yet, but by the time y'all drop this, it'll be out. They have named me the assistant coach for the U16, so I'll be traveling for the gold medal. I mean, for the medal games this summer.
Look at you.
So it's building, man. It's trusting the process, man, and it's God, He's blessing. So
that's good stuff. No, that was good stuff. That's good stuff. Well, Chet, I appreciate you coming on. Have a funny feeling that this probably won't be the last time. We'll probably connect again.
Oh, definitely,
again soon.
Whenever y'all, man.
And again, you know, we just want to just help people gain information. And again, appreciate you coming out, man. Good luck to your season.
Definitely.
We're a few weeks away from, I'm sure, a scrimmage or something. I'm sure your tryouts is probably starting up next week or something like that.
This upcoming weekend.
Okay.
So we're right back at it, man. My 8th year is, we're gonna try to make this the best one.